Welcome back to Read Aloud 4th grade. We are on to our penultimate, second to last chapter, chapter 24 of The Young Man in the Sea. This is called The Angel in the Mist. Little flat-bottomed skiff like mine was never meant to tow anything heavy. With a giant fish behind it starts to wallow. That means the back end of the skiff gets low in the water as the outboard tries to push it forward. Then it comes up hard against the rope and slows down. When that happens, the outboard makes a funny sound, like an old cat trying to cough up a fur ball. Don't sound good, that's for sure, and it makes me worry about a wave coming over the stern. I try to balance the skiff by shifting gear to the front and scrunching myself forward, but it don't help much. Doubt we're going more than 5 miles an hour, me and the big fish. So if the tide is going out, and I think it is, we're not making much headway at all. A mile or two each hour. Not near enough. Come on, little skiff, I'm thinking. You're a good boat, you can do it. Keep heading west. Head for Spinney Cove. Head for home. Get this mighty fish to the dock before Mr. Nagahachi goes home for the day. Before my dad figures out that me and the skiff and the last harpoon are missing. Do the math, though, and it don't sound good. At this rate, it'll take 15 hours to get back to shore. Tuna won't keep for 15 hours, even in cold water. Have to sell it for cat food, a few pennies on the pound. Then I remember that the tide turns every 6 hours. So pretty soon it'll be coming from behind, pushing the skiff toward shore. Or the fog might lift and I can make a deal with one of the tuna boats out on the fishing grounds. Give them part of the profit to tow me and the big fish back to the dock. Hate to split up the money, but if it means a higher price for a fresh fish, it'd be worth it, right? I'm still calculating the profit when the outboard starts to sputter. Hey, motor, please don't you quit on me now. Take me home. I'll give you a new carburetor. I'll have you rebuilt as good as new. But it ain't the outboard. I know better. It's the gas. Been running for 2 or 3 hours and now it's down to fumes. I give the fuel tank a shake and the motor picks up for a time, but then it sort of fades away and makes a little clunk, and that's it. No more outboard, motor. Quiet all of a sudden. Hush of the fog. Whisper of water on the hull. Little thump as the swell pushes the big fish up against the back of the skiff. Tail thumping soft as a puppy's tail to remind me of what I done. Only other noise is me getting out the oars. All along I knew it would come to this. Even without towing a lot of extra weight, the skiff wouldn't hold enough gas for the whole round trip. So it was always going to come down to me rowing the last few miles. Except this is more than a few miles. More like 20 miles. I'd done a fair bit of rowing up the creek and back and around the harbor, but nothing like 20 miles in one shot. Figure each mile could be worth as much as $1,000 if I can get the fish to the dock before it goes bad. $1,000 a mile. That makes me put my back into it. But from the very first pull, I know how hard it's going to be. I can feel the huge weight of the fish fighting the oars. Plus, it's hard to watch the compass and keep the right course when you're facing backward and pulling with all your might. What choice do I have? No choice at all. I got myself into this mess, and now I got to row myself out of it, plain and simple. I heard stories of men rowed 100 miles when they had to, in worse weather than this, and without food or water. Which reminds me, I'm out of food and water, too. Wish I hadn't chomped down that last sandwich. I sure could use it now. My stomach feels so empty it hurts. Scrambled eggs and sausage and toast with raspberry jam, that's what my stomach wants. Then a warm bed and a soft pillow. Or curl up next to Dad on the TV couch and forget about everything wet and cold. Hey, Big Bluefin, I say, give us a push, why don't you? Big Bluefin ain't talking. Every now and then the giant tail makes a feeble slap, but the strength is fading, and pretty soon that tail will stop moving forever. The great head lolls around and looks at me as it rises on a swell. Big sad eyes that say goodbye. I pull hard on the oars, and then the rope comes up tight and the whole skiff jerks to a stop. Gotta find the rhythm or I'll never get anywhere. Pull, ease, pull, ease, pull, pull, pull. Time it so the rope never goes slack. And don't forget to check the compass. Without a compass, you'll row in circles, sure as Christmas, because one arm is always stronger. Same as a hunter lost in the woods will walk in circles if he don't have a star to guide him, or know that moss mostly grows on the north side of trees. Fog this bad? No way to know exactly where land is until I hit the shore. So stop thinking about home and the harbor and the creek, you know, like the back of your hand. Stop thinking about how hungry and thirsty you are. Don't think about nothing but rowing. Don't think about how much it hurts. Don't think about the blisters on your hands. Don't think at all. Pull, ease, pull, pull, pull. I'm like a machine, a tired and worn-out machine that can't stop or it'll fall apart. Can't hardly tell where my arms end and the oars begin. Pull, pull, pull. Don't think. Pull, pull, pull. Hours go by, or it could be days and weeks and months and years for all I know, because time gets strange when every part of you is tired and hurting. I remember sitting at my desk in school, last period of the last class of the day, and waiting for the minute hand to tick along until the bell rang. The last 10 minutes of that class took a week at least. This is worse, much worse, as if each minute is an hour, and an hour is forever. All that's left of me is the rowing part and the hurting part. The thinking part of me is hiding in the back of my head and won't come out. Why should it? Nothing out here but hungry and hurting and thirsty and miserable. Pull, pull, pull. The glow in the fog fades to a dull gray. Takes me a year or two to realize the sun is going down. That's how long I've been rowing, and every lick of it feels like I've been rowing in place, never getting anywhere. Rowing against the tide, against the weight, moving around the same patch of black water, towing a giant fish, like walking up a steep hill with heavy iron boots, only you can never get to the top of the hill because it keeps getting higher and higher and the boots get heavier and heavier. Pull, pull, pull. I want to tell the fish it won. It beat me. For every stroke of the oars, it pulled back harder. It never gave up. It tuckered me out. It drowned me in fog and dark. Pull, pull, pull. The fog turns from day fog to night fog. It must be getting cooler, but I can't feel it. My hand's been numb for a long time, but when night comes, they feel warm, which don't seem right. And then my hands slip off the oars, and I fall off the seat and land in the bottom of the skiff. Put my hands to my face and realize my hands are bleeding, and that's what made them slip away from the oars. I get back into the seat and take a deep breath and try to clear my head, which ain't easy. I stopped being hungry a long time ago, but not eating makes it hard to think. What can I do? Comes to me, there's only two possibilities. Cut the fish loose or find a way to keep rowing. Cut the fish loose is giving up, and that means breaking rule number 3. But rule number 1 is think smart. Maybe thinking smart is cutting loose the fish. Which is more important, never giving up or thinking smart? I'm trying to decide when I notice something under my foot. A lumpy sandwich bag, which don't make no sense since I ate all my sandwiches a long time ago. Or did I? Takes all my strength to reach down and pick up the plastic bag with my bloody fingers and hold it up so I can see it. I'll be darned. A plain old peanut butter and jelly sandwich. A bar of solid gold couldn't look any finer. My hands are so slippery and shaky I have to tear the bag open with my teeth. Sandwich! Squished and soggy don't matter when you're starving. I eat the whole thing in one fat, wonderful bite. It tastes sticky and sweet. Better than candy. Better than anything. That little bit of food clears my head and stops me shaking. It helps me decide what to do. Helps me think how to be smart and never give up, both at the same time. What happens is I remember a true story Mr. Woodwell told me once that happened long ago. In the old days, they fished from schooners, big wooden ships with white canvas sails that took the fishermen far offshore to the Grand Banks fishing grounds. Each schooner carried a bunch of wooden dories stacked on deck, and when they got to the fishing grounds, the men got into the dories and rowed away, looking for cod and haddock. This one guy got lost in a winter storm and couldn't find the schooner. He's 100 miles at sea and can't find his ship. All his gear is washed away except for his oars. He knows his hands will soon get frostbite and then he won't be able to grip the oars. Before that happens, he dips his hands in the cold water and freezes them to the oar handles so he can't let go. And he rows all the way from the Grand Banks off Nova Scotia to Gloucester, Massachusetts. Lost his hands to the frostbite, but rowed all the way home and lived to tell the tale. He never gave up. He did what he had to do. What I got to do is somehow keep my hands from slipping off the oars. So I cut 2 pieces of rope, lash my left hand to the left oar, and tie the rope with a good knot. There, can't let go. Lashing my right hand is much harder. So hard it brings tears to my eyes, but I finally managed to pull the knot tight with my teeth. Both hands tied to the oars. Can't let go, can't give up. Ready? Ready. Pull, pull, pull. One day near the end, when my mom was really sick, she called me into her room. Her voice was so small and quiet, I had to lean close and smell the sick on her breath. I didn't care. I wanted to be that close. I wanted to feel her fingers, feather light on my cheek. I know you're still a small boy, Skiff Beeman, but I've got a big job for you. Anything, Mom, anything at all. I want you to take care of your father. You understand? Sure, Mom. Take care of Dad. Swear on a stack of pancakes? I swear, Mom. Thing is, I'd have done that anyhow without her asking. Mom knew that, but she wanted to hear me say it, to put her easy in her mind. Comes to me that the only really good reason to keep on rowing is to keep that promise. And if I cut the fish loose, I can get home sooner. Makes sense. Only thing, I can't cut the rope because my hands are lashed to the oars. So there it is. Pull, pull, pull. One time we all went out for a picnic on the Mary Rose, anchored behind Boone Island out of the wind, and Mom put a checkered tablecloth over the engine cover and passed out fried chicken on paper plates and potato salad and pickles and stuff, and homemade blueberry pie for dessert. I ate so much I like to bust and started complaining about a full stomach and too much food, and she said, never complain about too much food. That's an insult to the cook and an insult to all the hungry people in the world. I sassed her and had to stay down in the cabin for the rest of the picnic. When we got back to the dock, Mom came down in the cabin and said, have you got over being a smart mouth? And I said no. Mom shook her head and sat down on the bunk and said, what am I going to do with you? Don't care what you do, I told her. My stomach hurts and you don't care. Mom said, look me in the eye and say that. And I looked her in the eye, and I couldn't say it because it wasn't true. She smiled then and said, you have as much stubborn in you as a full-grown man. I hope someday you put it to good use. That was our last picnic on the Mary Rose. Pull, pull, pull. When Mom got sick, I kept wishing I had a time machine so I could go back and fix things. Take back all the mean words I ever said to her. Change what made her sick. Change myself into a better person that didn't ruin picnics. Pull, pull, pull. Can't feel my arms. Can't feel my hands. All I can feel is the weight of the skiff and the big fish and the fog pressing down. Brain ain't working right. Something wrong, but I don't know what. Almost like I'm asleep, but I can't be asleep because I'm still rowing. My eyes are wide open, but the compass has gone blurry. Am I still headed for shore? Pull, pull, pull. Can't stop. Want to give up, but can't. Now I'm watching me pull on the oars, like I'm floating just above, watching Skiff Beeman row and row and row. Crazy boy. Where does he think he's going? Going to Boone Island for a picnic. Going to get it right this time. Pull, pull, pull. Can't see the compass, can't see the fish, can't see the end of my oars dipping into the water. Only thing I can see is the funny-looking giant striding high above the fog. Tall thing with skinny legs and a bright white halo shining behind its head. Do giants have halos? Can't be a giant. Giants don't exist, do they? Must be an angel. An angel in the mist with eyes like beams of light. Don't matter. Must keep rowing. Then the angel comes out of the fog and it's a boat, not an angel. And the halo is a spotlight shining down from the tuna tower. And a man shouts from the tower, but I can't understand what he's saying. And it might be a dream tempted me to give up, so I don't stop rowing. I never stop rowing until my father jumps down from Finn Chaser and picks me up, oars and all, and carries me to sleep. Pretty intense chapter. So obviously, even though he caught the bluefin, he still had a big thing to overcome, and that's getting back. And Skiff had to basically row himself. He was needing to get back 20 more miles, and then we see kind of what happened. Think back to a time in your life when you pushed yourself farther than you thought you could. Have you ever had a time where you just kept going, kept trying, kept at it? Maybe nothing as extreme as Skiff, but what's something that you've really, really tried beyond your wildest imagination that you could do? Has there ever been a time? Put it in the comments below. We'll finish the book tomorrow.